This answer? Yeah. Assess organization culture and readiness for transformation. That is what we need to do it. What should be done? Because you are changing, like there is a change. Always, like whenever there is a change, we need to understand the people culture, how they will accept the change. Are they going to lead the change, support the change, right? Or resist the change? Or maybe they are neutral to the change, or maybe they are unaware of the change. There is a 5 stages in terms of stakeholder engagement in terms of changes, like leading position, supportive position, resistance position, neutral as well as unaware. So it is a change. Okay. See now, like we have studied all those introductions, right? Any doubt? You have it. Any question you have doubt? Tell me. Anything about the topic? Right. So whenever we read a question, as I told you, that we need to understand, is it a change driven or it is a plan driven or hybrid approach? Right. So now to start a project, first we do the project selection. To select the project, we prepare a needs assessment, business case, and a benefits management plan. So these 3 we need to prepare it. Okay. See, needs assessment, it is going to document all those needs. Why this project? What are the problems, opportunity, right? It may be a 1-page document, or maybe it depends on the company policy, we will prepare it. Then next document, we will prepare a business case. So the business case is nothing but an economic feasibility study. Economic feasibility study. So the economic feasibility study, which is going to justify why this project is selected. Project should be selected. And what are the business problem we are going to address? Who are all the people will involve? What are all initial scope, high level cost, high level risk? So when we talk about a high level risk, we discuss about any business related risk, strategic risk, or maybe like operational related risk, or competitive risk, or legal and regulatory risk, financial risk. Those risk, high level risk, we will document here. And we do the gap analysis, what is needed capability, as well as what is existing capability. In case if there is any gap, then we go for a joint venture. We will sign an agreement called teaming agreement. We will do it. Then we'll develop options, like what are the options, like how do we address it, and as well as evaluation statement, like select the option and like evaluation statement. Then finally we will proceed with the project. So the business case or needs assessment, which is going to justify why this project should be selected. It will document cost of investment, return on investment, all those information we will document. Okay. So next one is benefits management plan. What is benefits management plan? We document along with the business case, we prepare one more document, benefits management plan, which is going to tell you how the benefits are going to be initiated or planned, right? As well as achieved, managed, and like sustained throughout the product life cycle. Identifying, maximizing, sustaining the benefits throughout the product life cycle. That's called benefits management plan. So target benefit, what are all target benefit? Like, because we know that every project is initiated to deliver a benefit or value. So either tangible or intangible or combination of both. So target benefit. And who are all the benefit owners? Like for example, the benefit owner may be investor, or maybe team members, or legal authorities, society, community. So we need to document all those information. Who are all the benefit owner? Then what is the time frame to achieve the benefit? Time frame to achieve the benefit. This is one of the input. Based on this input only we decide, are we going for plan driven or change driven? So based on this only we will document the milestone information, time frame to achieve the benefit. So next one is what are the metrics are there to evaluate the benefit? right? And what are the risk and assumption related to benefit? Those information we will document in benefits management plan. So once your needs assessment, business case and benefits management plan is ready, then we will do project selection. For project selection, we will use financial analysis. Financial analysis and a non-financial analysis. So when we say financial analysis, we will use all those in the economic analysis, we will use it. Financial analysis is nothing but economic analysis. So economic analysis, like what are the methods we will use it? We will use like net present value. Net present value. So what is net present value? Cost of investment minus the cash outflow as well as cash inflow. The difference between these two. That's called net present value. But we will calculate in a present value, we will calculate. Present value means like we will discount and see after 10 years, we will receive maybe 1 million dirhams as a profit. But now what is the value of 1 million dirhams right now? So that's called time value of money concept. We will to use it. Or we may go for internal rate of return. Internal rate of return. So in the internal rate of return, at what percentage? At what percentage the NPV becomes zero? So like a break even, NPV will become zero. If the percentage return on investment is more, and we will achieve the break even yearly. So if the return on investment will be less, the achievement will be delayed. So that present, that is also we are going to calculate based on present value we'll calculate. Next one is we will do cost benefit analysis. So based on the ratio, if it is greater than 1, less than 1, we will decide it. Economic value added. Economic value added. So what is the net worth? What is the net worth created to your management? So after the project is over, so the net profit margin, they will say, so economic value added, or what are the equity value or share value which is increased after the project is over, or return on investment. Return on investment. See, net present value, internal rate of return, we will use time value of money concept. It is called discounted cash flow method. Here we will consider the risk factors, inflation, or any like kind of market conditions, political conditions, all those information we will consider. But return on investment, straight away we will take the number and we will use to apply the formula. So return on investment or rate of return also similar. So we don't consider any risk factor, and payback period. That is also similar. So on the return on investment, rate of return, payback period and all. So these are all non-discounted cash flow method. As it is, we'll calculate, but it's not going to give you exact information. But the right method is going to be net present value as well as internal rate of return. But what is recommended, every method, they will use it. Okay. Next one is non-financial analysis method. We will use it like kind of a scoring models, peer review, scoring models. So those things we will do it. Peer review, scoring models, right? Peer review, scoring models. Or motherboard approach.
Sir, are you showing any slides, sir, or write-ups? Because we are seeing only this project business document slide.
Okay. Sorry. So we will use these methods, we will use it. Peer review, scoring models. Motherboard approach. What is called motherboard approach? You form a steering committee, and the committee will come up with the only negative, like factors about the project, why this project should not be selected, and what are the justification. So being a proposer of the project, you need to justify like you need to give a valid, like a counter argument for those negative points. Actually, that's called motherboard approach. The purpose is to kill the project. Peer review, like they will sit and discuss. The experienced project manager or experienced people, they will sit and discuss about pros and cons of the project. And based on the pros and cons, they will select the project. Scoring models also, we have a source selection criteria. So we will assign a score for each source selection criteria, sorry, the project selection criteria. Then based on that, we will choose it. So these are all like before the project is selected, it will happen. So who's responsible for it? Project selection. So project selection should be done by project sponsor. Project sponsor will select the project. Project sponsor will select the project. Select the project, or he may nominate a steering committee or project selection committee. Right. So prospective project manager, like project managers till now, it is not, he's not appointed, but prospective project manager should be part of selection. So one is he can provide his expertise. Another one is he can understand the core purpose of the project, why this project is like selected, what were the discussion they made. So based on that, he can, like for example, when he is executing a project, he can keep all those points discussed in mind and he can execute and he can achieve the target actually. Right. So this is project selection method. So once your project is selected, now assume that your project is selected, what is your next step? So next step, we will do the project initiation. We will do the project initiation. This is project selection. So next, go for project initiation. So in the project initiation, who's going to initiate a project? Again, project sponsor. Initiator. So the sponsor appoints project manager. The sponsor will appoint a PM. So now the PM understand the organizational, understand the organization, understand the project, understand the organization, understand the project, understand the product, and understand the key stakeholders. Understand the key stakeholders. Okay. So next, once we understood the organization, project, product, and key stakeholders. So this is, we can say, key deliver instead of. So PM collaborate with the sponsor to develop project charter. Then sponsor approve the project charter. Then PM will form the organization and this is what will happen as a first step. It is going to happen. So the project initiation, like for example, we are going to, we will start the project. So now understanding the organization, understanding the project. So to PM to understand the organization, what he will do. So he will read EEF, as well as OPA. So you know what is EEF? EEF, enterprise environmental factor, where you are going to document like all those internal factor of your company as well as external factor of your company, which is going to impact your project positively and negatively, which you will do. So next step, like for example, OPA. OPA will provide you policy, process, and procedure to start the project. So that's called understanding the organization, business processes. Understanding the organization, business processes. Next one is he has to understand the project. To understand the project, he will read business document and the contracts, agreements, and especially teaming agreement. Teaming agreement. So if he's reading the business document, he can understand the purpose of the project, he can understand. Next one is understanding key deliverables. Understanding key deliverables. To understand the key deliverable, what he will do, he prepare a proof of concept. Proof of concept. Next, prototype. Next, he will do prototype. Then they will develop MVP. What is MVP? Minimum viable product. So that is the order they will do it. Minimum viable product to understand the deliverables. So they may use impact map to organize the product features. To organize the product features. So next one is they will play some game, like for example, XP Metaber, right? Use agile tools to understand product. So this is key deliverable. Okay. So next one is what is project? Like how you will understand the project. Already we discussed key deliverables. We discussed. Next one is key stakeholders. Key stakeholders. To understand the key stakeholders, he will read agreements, contracts, EEF, because where the organization breakdown structure will be documented, agreements, contract, EEF. So where he can understand who are all the people are going to involve in the project. Then based on that, he will develop, based on his understanding, he will develop assumption and a constraint law. Assumption and constraint law, he will develop it. So here, sponsor will appoint the, project charter. Then he will form the team. So as part of the team, he has to identify the stakeholder, analyze the stakeholder, right? Identify the stakeholder and analyze the stakeholder. So next one, document the list of stakeholders in stakeholder register. So there is as part of the initiation, we have 3 documents we have out. One is assumption and constraint law. Another one is project charter. Third one is going to be stakeholder register. So for this, we have a processes. So based on the processes, we will study. So if you look at this, we are going to study governance performance domain. As part of the governance performance domain, the first process is going to be initiate project or phase. The result of initiate project or phase. So what is the result? We have project charter as well as assumption log. Next one is as part of the stakeholder performance domain, we have identify stakeholder. As a result of identify stakeholder is stakeholder register. Okay. So today we will start with the initiate project or phase as a first process. Once we done it, next process we will study identify stakeholder. Once we done it, the project is initiated. So once your initiation is over, then we will move to planning. In planning, what we will develop? We will develop a project management plan. To develop a project management plan, so we need to have a complete scope information. So we make WBS ready, as well as resources information, risk information, schedule information, quality information, cost information, as well as stakeholder communication need, as well as stakeholder engagement need, as well as procurement need. So all those information will be documented in your project management plan. So there is around 19 process we will do under planning. So result of 19 process is going to be project management plan. Once your project management plan is ready, we will go for execution. So where we are going to conduct procurement, acquire resources, manage the team, develop the team, right? Manage the, implement risk responses, communication, like manage communication, manage stakeholder engagement. So we will make the people to work, and during this process, and the execution will happen. Then monitor and control is going to be a parallel processes. So whenever there is a deliverable comes, inspection will go on. Whenever there is a changes comes, the change request will be created as well as processed. And whenever there is approved changes comes, they do the validation process. And so monitor and control as well as plus, they do the performance evaluation, right? Under monitor and control processes, inspecting the deliverable, right? Analyzing the changes and approving the changes and implementing changes and validating changes. And the third one is going to be like preparing work performance report and send it to all the people. And this is part of the performance review. So as part of this monitor and control, we will close the contractor, like contract as well as supplier contract, we will close it. And finally, when all those deliverables are delivered to the customer, we go to the closing stage where we will hand over the final building. The inspection will happen, civil defense inspection, all those inspection, occupancy certificate, everything will be cleared. Is there any punch list, tag list? Those things will be happening. In closing project, it will happen. Finally, you will close your customer contract, get a customer satisfaction survey, and then you will close your contract with your company. So this is what we are going to study from 40 processes. So that is the structure of the course. How do we proceed from today? Any question? So when we study examination question, always please remember, are we in initiation, planning, execution, monitor and control? First one, I told you that, are we in plan-driven project or in change-driven project? If you know that it is a plan-driven project, immediately we need to come to, are we in initiation, right? This is called project focus area. Okay. Are we in initiation, planning, execution, monitor and control, closing? Right? In change-driven project, we don't follow these processes. This process is only applicable in plan-driven. So that is, please remember. So in examination question, first we need to find out, is it a plan-driven or change-driven or hybrid? If it is a plan-driven, the project focus area. Project focus area is initiation, planning, execution, monitor and control, and closing. So the next one is you need to see which processes and which processes. Then find the right answer. So when we say change driven and which agile event we are, right? Agile event or scrum event. What are agile event or scrum event? Sprint planning, sprint daily scrum meeting, sprint review, sprint retrospective. So hybrid means combining these two, right? When we read the examination question, this method, this pattern, you follow it, then you will find out the right answer. So now next we'll start the. So now these are all just for your understanding. Project selection done. Straight away, I will go to the subject. Okay. So now, for example, we are in project is selected, we are in initiation. So project sponsor will appoint a project manager. Now the project manager, he does the assessment. As I told you, that assessment of organization, assessment of the project, assessment of the product, right? So he will try to understand the organization processes, policies, like who has a power, authority, responsibility. So those information will be documented in EEF. Project sponsor will select the project from the options. So they will analyze, PM will analyze the business case to justify the need of the project, analyze the benefits management plan to understand the planned benefits to be delivered. For example, maybe the project is selected. At this point, the project manager feels that or he has a valid point to say that the project is not going to be successful. Yes, still he can recommend the project sponsor to cancel the project, and he has to justify with the information. Conduct the initial cost benefit analysis. The PM will do the initial cost benefit analysis with relevant stakeholder to validate the project alignment with the organizational strategy and expected business value. So here only they will decide. Further, it is kind of a make or buy analysis. Evaluate the feasibility of new product or services within the given assumption and constraints. And evaluation based on available information, lessons learned from the previous project, meeting with the relevant stakeholders. First, we need to identify the deliverable, right? So the initial scope information is documented in the business case. And the initial, like in the expected deliverable is documented in business case. So now the project manager has to sit and analyze the product, So here he has to see that what are the feasibilities and possibilities of the product. Identify key deliverables based on the business requirement. Identify the key deliverable based on business requirement. So where the key deliverable documented? In business case, it is documented. Then he will identify deliverable must meet customer expectation and direct the achievement of project goals. He has to ensure, PM has to ensure. So key project stakeholders are responsible to identify the deliverables. So in plan-driven project, when you start the project, what was the first document you received from your customer? I'm not talking about execution, right? So I'm talking about like a tendering. Tender stage, I'm asking, which is the document you will receive from your customer?
Requirements. Scope.
But scope or requirements. Which is a document the sponsor and the customer may give you. They will give you scope statement, they will give you, right? High level scope statement they will give you. Based on that only, we will develop the entire project. So here we call them as a product vision statement. Product vision statement. Who will prepare this product vision statement now? Customer. Who is the customer representative? Product owner. So product owner will prepare a product vision statement. So what is this product vision statement? It is going to tell you what product we are going to develop, to whom we are going to develop, why they need this product, and is there any competitive product similar to this, and what are the competitive advantage we have it. This 5 to 6 information only we will document in a product vision statement. The first artifact created on Agile project. So decide end state. Decide end state described as a set of decide end objectives and as well as outcomes. So basically product vision statement, it is a long-term vision of your product. Long-term vision of your product. I'm going to develop a website, but initially I want to develop with a few pages, but in another 10 years or 20 years, I want to incorporate AI. So those information will be documented in product vision statement. That's called decide end state, described as a set of decide end objectives as well as outcomes. Depending on how deliverables are defined under development approach. Depending on how deliverables are defined and development approach. So development approach means plan driven or changed. The project vision should be sufficiently immutable, right? To serve as a North Star for the project, or the project vision should be sufficiently immutable. Immutable means it is not going to change. It is not going to change. So the various component may change or adapt, but the vision should be reasonably consistent. So this may describe, so what is the product or solution we may develop? Who are all the intended users and the beneficiaries and customers? Key desired objectives, differentiated from competitive approach, key features and benefits. So it states that what is the product, who's the primary market for the product, why does this primary market need your product, as well as what benefits will be product given its primary market, and what makes the product different from its competitors. Clear? Now, customer gave you the document. So what you will do normally? In generally, what you will do once you receive the SOW or scope statement, so you will develop a prototype and see. You will develop a prototype and see, or you may prepare a kind of a business proposal. You will see. That is what business case and all we discussed, right? So next we are going to develop a proof of concept. Who is responsible? It is a project manager responsibility to develop a proof of concept. What is called proof of concept? Theoretical demonstration of your product idea. Theoretical demonstration of a product idea. It is a pilot project which is executed to demonstrate that product idea, business plan or project plan is feasible. Theoretical demonstration of a product or process or concept. In a drug development, clinical trials are used to gather proof of concept for a final product. So means basically proof of concept for feedback purposes. Addresses how the proposed product or service will support organizational goal, objectives or other business requirement as a secondary goals. Collect user feedback and insight from team members, even from an end user, and the feedback help to mitigate unforeseen risk. Right? Proof of concept, it is a theoretical demonstration of your product idea. How this product is going to be possible and feasible, all those information we will document and see, like whether we will collect the feedback from the customer. Again, we will go for it is iteratively developed. What is the meaning? Based on the feedback, it will be refined until we get a right solution. Right. So next one is like, for example, now we will develop a prototype. We develop a prototype. Prototype is going to be a non-functional product. So both the proof of concept, prototype and MVP. MVP is a functional product. Prototype is a non-functional product, and product model and proof of concept is theoretical concept. All three we develop to collect the feedback from the customer. So apart from that, we have some tools like a XP Metaber. So what is XP Metaber? Like for example, from a user point, the customer will explain you what product they need it. So they will tell you small, let's say, for example, small stories, some kind of analogy they will do, and to make you to understand. Actually, that's called XP Metaber. It is an extreme programming technique. It is one of the tool in Agile. Describe a common vision of how product will work. Where to conceptualize and describe the product being developed. Use a simple and relatable analogy or story that the team members, stakeholders, and user can understand easily. It is a non-technical one, enabling a broad array of stakeholders to understand the overarching approach that is being taken to provide capability or solve a problem. XP Metaber, which is nothing but a tool which is used in Agile project, which is used to be the customer to make the stakeholder to understand the concept of the product. That's called XP Metaber. So next one is you may create a product box exercise. What is called product box exercise? We know that product box. So we have 4 sides. Each side we will write the information about the product and we will show to the customer. That's called product box exercise. Describe aspect of a solution in the same way the marketer might describe product features and benefits on the box. Those exercises can help the teams to better understand the different types of user of a solution, their priorities and likes and dislikes, key aspect of the solution, which is going to drive the most critical value aspect of the solution, etc. That is product box exercise. Apart from that, we have an impact map. Impact map will help you to analyze which features are very important for your product. Like which features are must-have features, which features are should-have features, those things and all, we will analyze it. Lightweight collaborative planning technique used in strategic product planning, team to decide which features to build into your product. So because here at this stage, we will finalize what product we are going to develop, what features we are going to incorporate, as well as what are the functionalities we are going to produce. So now already we have collected the high level requirement we have collected from the customer. So in the solution related requirement already we have collected, assume that based on the requirement, we have decided the features to be developed. Clear now? Any question? Please remember step by step, then it is easy for you to understand. Any other question? Okay. Say, let's say now, for example, your project is awarded. You've done everything, now project is awarded. What is your next step? Or like, for example, you decided to start this project. What is your next step? Practically, you say, like, for example, what you will do in your project, actually, that is what we are discussing in different names we are discussing.
Proof of concept.
That is already done. You've done the proof of concept. You developed a prototype. You developed so only thing is MVP not developed actually. Okay. So proof of concept is developed. Prototype is done. And you understood the product by using XP Metaber, product box exercise, as well as impact map. These three tools will help you to understand the product. Now you have decided to start the project. To start the project, what is our next step?
We'll plan the product.
Before planning?
We'll initiate how to get the resource and
Tendering.
Tendering, okay. Now we need to go for tendering, okay. This is two, three like for example, 2-3 ways we can approach. One is like, for example, after tendering also we can think, or before tendering, what are all we will do it. When you will make the design, you need to make your design ready, right? Once your design is ready, then only we will go for planning.
You said already awarded, right, sir? Project is already awarded.
No, either it is awarded or not awarded. We are ready to start the project. Means our company. See, for example, before awarding a project to you, you have set up activity, you will do it, correct? Sometimes it may be awarded to you or it may not awarded to you, but whatever you spend, we consider as expense for this particular project. So and so project management will document the so and so project we have started. This much money we spend it. Okay, but the project is not awarded to you because of so many reasons. Either it is awarded or not awarded. Maybe let's say, for example, not awarded. We are going for tendering later. So before that, what we do?
So we will prepare our scope.
So we do the designs and everything, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. We do the designs. We do the mobilization work. For example, mobilization means forming a team, setting the office, getting the approvals, initial approvals, any other approvals we need to take it, arranging the systems and computers, and bringing the team to the particular workplace. So this all activity will happen. So as part of the Okay. So now your product vision statement ready. So what is the next step you will do? Product roadmap. So what are the features? That's what the impact map and all you will decide. Product roadmap. After the product roadmap, you will do the release plan. So in release plan only, you will develop a product backlog. You will develop product backlog is a list of requirement, list of features. So as part of the release plan, first we need to do the iteration 0. First we will do iteration 0. Next you will do the iteration 1. Then I will do iteration 2. So you may have any number of iteration based on the complexity of the product. So iteration 3. Iteration 0, first we will do the setup, the mobilization, setting the project office, design approvals, and like getting the, like, no, what is it? Definition of done, preparing product backlog. These are all happen in iteration 0. So iteration 1, we will prepare a MVP, minimum viable product. Then iteration 2, we will start develop other features. So now, after this, now this is over. All those required features developed. What is our next step? Iteration H. What is the meaning of iteration H? It is hardening iteration. Okay. So in iteration 0, what are all we will make it ready? Set up the project office, mobilization, design approval, initial other approvals, creating definition of done, creating product backlog. So this will happen in iteration 0. Iteration 1, we start to develop the like essential product. So the MVP may be developed in one iteration or maybe developed in more than one iteration, but I'm documenting here from first iteration. From second iteration onwards, we will develop a pseudo product, pseudo features, right? Pseudo features, and all. That's called MMF. Okay. So next one is iteration. Iteration 3, like finally, when everything is over, iteration H. Can you assume that what will happen in iteration H? From your construction project or software project? Now the building is ready. What we do? We do the closing activity. That's called iteration H. Closing activity is what? The final product inspection will happen. Authorities inspection will happen. Your occupancy certificate, you will receive it. If there is any punch list or snack list is there, you can document. You can start working on it. Your defect liability period, warranty period will start. And you will hand over the products to the operation team. You will provide the training and manual to the operation team. All those activity will happen in iteration H. It is called hardening iteration. Closing activity. When we done this, your first release is over. Then we will discuss about the second release. Second release also same thing. Iteration 0, iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, n number of iteration H. Is it clear for you? Or confusion? Okay. Take a break. After the break, please tell me if you have any confusion. Again, I will explain you to make you to understand. Then we will go to the course. So this is a fundamental concept what we are studying, right? till now, what we have done, we have selected the project. Now project manager came in. Now project manager is understanding the product, correct? Understanding the product. So now they are working on iteration 0. They are going to work in iteration 0 only. Agile project charter will be issued. Product backlog will be issued. Definition of done will be issued. Mobilization work will be done, right? Design work will be done and approved, as well as other approvals will be done. So these are all iteration 0. So here only he will form the team, identify stakeholder also, part of the iteration 0. Okay. Take a break. After the break, we will continue. Okay, we'll start now. The next one is we are going to discuss about iteration 0. Prepare for the first release or planning cycle before development begins. Conduct before new program or project or release or major product upgrade. Define the value stream for delivering products to market or clients. That's called your what are the features you are going to deliver. Create an agile product roadmap with the tentative releases. Support project approvals, environment setup, initial overview and design discussions. Perform technical architectural setup and gather initial backlog requirement. Discuss and establish infrastructure need. Assign roles and responsibility. Define sprint length and cadence. Agree on definition of done at the team integration and release level. Finalize program and team working agreements. And duration, typically 1 week for 3 months program and scales proportionally like 1 month for a 1 year program. So what is iteration 0? So initial approval, initial team setup, assigning roles and responsibility, developing product backlog, developing project charter, all those things will happen. Any question? Okay. So what is called teaming agreement? It's like a agreement between team members and the project manager or agreement between two companies as a joint venture agreement. That's called teaming agreement, which is a legal contractual agreement between two or more parties created to form a joint venture or any other arrangement defined by the parties to meet the requirement of a business opportunity. The parties can be internal or external to the organization executing a project. A teaming agreement shapes project planning by defining the scope of work and competition requirement in advance. So as part of the iteration 0, we will prepare a product roadmap. So it is a product roadmap is nothing but a prioritized matrix, prioritized product matrix created by the product owner. Product roadmap is a 1 year plan. In 1 year, what are the product, what are the features we are going to develop? Prepare after the goals, milestone, and potential deliverables are determined. Serve as a high-level visual summary of the product or products of the project. The objective is to display the strategy and direction of the product being built and the value to be delivered over time, which are progressively elaborated over a time as vision is refined. Serve as a guide and reminder to all stakeholders about the shared objectives. Provide short-term as well as long-term visualization of the product. Roadmap matures and evolves as the project travels down the road. As a project progresses, typically every month, the roadmap should be updated. Right? So what is called any changes, it is going to reflect in product backlog, whether through adding new desired capability or reprioritizing the existing features. So what is product roadmap? A list of products to be developed. List of products to be developed in 1 year. Right? That's called product roadmap. Product roadmap is a 1 year product plan. 1 year product plan. So now, you see this? So here we have a product roadmap. Here we have a product roadmap.
Sir, the product roadmap should be until the product gets delivered, or it should fix a term of 1 year only?
For in 1 year, what are the products we are going to develop?
So if the product gets developed within 1 year, then?
Still, we will be having product roadmap because product roadmap is a 1 year plan. Okay. And the release is going to be a quarterly plan.
Okay. Okay.
So the release will be minimum 3 months, maximum 6 months. If you have 6 month period, you will be having only 2 releases in a year. If you have 3 months period, means 4 releases in a year. So either 2 release or 4 release, which will be part of the product roadmap. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So the product roadmap used to provide high level visibility into the overall project key deliverable, releases, release date, and what is the theme we are aiming, and what are the features we are going to deliver, and what are the objectives, business objectives, and what development approach we will use it. What development approach means either it is going to be incremental approach or iterative approach or agile approaches. Product features that will be delivered in each release over time, and immutable project dates. So means like the dates are not going to change. Like for example, if for every release, we are going to please remember coming back here. So for each release, we have a start date and end date. For each release, we have a start date and end date. So that because here time is fixed, so within the date, we need to complete all those planned iteration and deliver all planned features. So how and when certain capabilities may be made available, at least a minimum viable product, high level needs and milestone dates. So product vision is going to be a long-term aspiration of the product. Product strategy is going to be how do we achieve it or how do we develop it. Product roadmap is a visual communication tool for the customers as well as stakeholders. So like you will prepare a product vision statement. Next, you will prepare a product roadmap. Third, you will prepare a release plan. Fourth, you will prepare an iteration plan. And each iteration, we have a daily plan. So every product roadmap will be having releases. So we have a release management. Each release, we have a product backlog. So product backlog is nothing but a list of requirements, list of prioritized requirement. So the fundamental benefit of Agile project is the ability to convert high value capability into delivered solutions. Continuously delivering the product will help you to achieve the goals. Part of the job of product owner in an Agile project, and they will manage the releases and defining the initial capability that make up a minimum viable product, start generating real value for the business and real feedback. In a traditional project, release occurs at the end of the project. So every release, the result of release, we call them as a MMR, minimum marketable release. So each marketable release will be having MVP. As a first iteration, always we will deliver a MVP, minimum viable product. Next one is we will start to develop MMF, minimum marketable features, and combination of MMF. In general, we call them as a minimum marketable product. So collectively, it is called MMR. Collectively, it is called MMR. MMR is a building. MMR is a building. MMR is a car. MMR is a website. So what is MVP? MVP is a, let's say, for example, the particular, like a part of building, maybe a foundation or excavation or superstructure or substructure. That's called MVP as well as MMF. Or in a car example, engine is a MMF, MVP or MMF, or rest of the components are going to be MVP or MMF. So collectively, it is called MMP.
E.
A, B, E. Choose three. A, B, E.
Business case?
Do they ask Jack to prepare? You are talking about benefits, right? Tangible as well as intangible value.
Product benefits management plan.
No. Benefits management. You want to talk about the target. What is benefits management plan? I told you that. What are all? Target benefits. Who are all the
Sir,
benefit?
but in business case, we also deal with the NPV, NRR, all these things, no, sir. So when we do that, then
That is to evaluate the project actually. Financial analysis, calculations, calculating the return on investment.
correct. So that is what is tangible benefit, no, sir.
That is tangible, but intangible benefit, because benefits management plan, collectively you document everything. Social benefit, community related benefits.
Okay.
So all those information we will see. That's what I told you, that along with the benefits business case, we will prepare benefits management plan also. And how do we achieve this benefit? How do we deliver this benefit? How do we maximize this benefit? Plans, strategies. How frequently we are going to deliver the benefits. Those information only in benefits management plan.
Okay, sir.
So now, what is next now? Like project charter, obtain project charter approval from the sponsor. Inform stakeholders of the approved project charter. Ensure common understanding of the key deliverables, milestones, and the roles and responsibility. Ensure the team buy-in. Project sponsor provide financial resources for the project. Then you will create a project organization where you will identify the stakeholders, form the team. Right? So already we have discussed what we do. We will understanding the performing organization, all those governance system, policy, framework, everything. There is a two type of governance framework. One is organization governance framework. Another one is project governance framework. What is called framework? Set up policy, process, procedures, which is going to guide your organization or which is going to guide your project. So what is the governance framework can include elements of? It is going to provide you the oversight and control, value assessment, integration among components, decision-making capability. These are all will come under like governance framework. Determines and influence the behavior of the people, rules and structure and policies. Because the behavior of the people based on the power structure, the people behavior may change. So those information we can get it from framework. Okay. So this is, we discussed what is called internal factor, external factor, EF internal, external. So EF internal, organizational structure, culture and governance, geographic distribution of facilities and resources, infrastructure, information technology software, resource availability and employee capability. So these are all external factors. Like last week, I think we had studied this. OPA, policy, process and procedure, which is help you to manage the project, initiate a project, plan a project, execute a project, monitor and control the project, and close the project. Answer. What is the answer here? OPA. What is OPA? What is called OPA? Can you hear me? What is OPA? OPA, policy, process, procedures.
Process assets which influence the management of the project. Yeah.
So OPA will be process asset, governance document, data asset, knowledge asset, right? And security and safety measures. So in OPA, we will be having policies, process, and procedures. And an organization knowledge bases are nothing but a historical information of your past project. That's called knowledge bases. So when you say historical information, anything you mean, like a data, databases, information, reports, like project files, drawings, right? Templates, all those things will come under OPA. So OPA basically a knowledge related asset. Knowledge related asset. So what is OPA? Someone. They are asking you what is not OPA. Because I can go to the next slide, because if you're not understanding what is OPA, then there is no point.
And the answer is D, sir.
D.
Standardized
Standardized stakeholder list.
stakeholder list.
Every project will be having their own stakeholder. We cannot standardize the stakeholder list. Right? Templates are from OPA. Resource management policies, procedures are from OPA. Historical information are from OPA, not standardized stakeholder list. So next we are going to develop a project charter. Right? Without a project charter, like you cannot start the project. So project charter are nothing but a statement of scope, objectives, as well as participant. Please mute your mic. Can you please mute your mic? So next we are going to discuss about project charter. See, what is project charter? It is a high level document, high level project document. high-level project document that's called project charter. So developed and approved by project sponsor. So anyone can develop also, but approvals would be done by project sponsor. So it is going to authorize. It will authorize the PM to start to conduct project. Use organizational resources. Organizational resources. If no project charter, no project exists. So if you are joining as a project manager in between in an ongoing project, so which is the first document you need to prepare? Project charter. So without preparing a project charter, without getting the project charter, you cannot act as a project manager. If no project charter, no project exists, which is an internal agreement. An internal agreement between PM and the project sponsor. So finally, when you complete the project, when you have completed the project, you need to close this project charter. That's called closing the project. Closing the project. Closing your internal agreement with your project sponsor. Right. So it will document all high-level information. High-level information. Document high-level scope, schedule, cost, project objectives, project boundary, resources. So that's called pre-assigned resources. So what is called pre-assigned resources? Some resources are key to your project. Maybe a physical or team resources. So because of that resource, only the project is awarded to you. Those resources always we need to maintain the project, or we need these resources. That's called pre-assigned resources. Pre-approved resources. High-level milestone, high-level risk, high-level quality, high-level requirement. So if you read any question, the question talks about high level. The term, a word called high level, please remember it talks about project charter. So it will document the roles and responsibility of project sponsor. Roles and responsibility of the project sponsor. Right? So you may have more than one project sponsor also, but the roles and responsibilities should be clearly defined. So it will document success criteria. So based on that criteria only, we will evaluate the project finally. The next one is exit criteria. So what is exit criteria? Accomplishment criteria. As well as what is exit accomplishment? Like for example, when we can close the project, when we can terminate the project, what condition we can terminate the project? Success criteria, exit criteria, as well as acceptance criteria. To accept the project back from you, what are the checklists we need to follow? Right? So document the success criteria, acceptance criteria, and exit criteria. So this is called project charter. So in Agile, we call them as an Agile project chart. In Agile project, we call them as an Agile project chart. So if you have any question, please tell. So before starting a project, as a project manager and project sponsor, so you need to sit together, you need to agree on project charter items. Because anything cannot do beyond project charter information. That's called we documented the project boundary we have documented. Right? So the document which will go through less number of changes in the project is project charter, because project charter generally will not change. If there is a change in project charter, there is a major change in your project. So who can do these changes or who can request a change in project charter? Only the project sponsor. Who can approve it? Project sponsor. Right? It is a project sponsor document. Anyone has a question?
Sir,
So next.
document success criteria, exit criteria. No, if it is a repetitive project, we can document success criteria. If it is a new project, how do we document the success criteria, sir?
Success criteria means what actually? When do you say this project is successful? For example, you've done the project, and this particular project, like for example, let's say you need to make 100% literacy. Through this project, you need to make 100% literacy. The 100% literacy is achieved. Correct? That's called success criteria.
Okay.
The 100% literacy means what? Everyone can write their name. That's called 100% literacy.
So this should have all three, like success criteria, exit criteria, and acceptance criteria.
All three.
Like-
See, success
okay.
criteria to evaluate the project success. Whether your project is successful or not, whether it has met the intended purpose, intended need, why this project is started. We have business case, right? Whether it is achieved or not. That's called success criteria checklist. Exit criteria, when you can terminate the project, when you can close the project. I have a positive aspect as well as negative aspect. Negative aspect is what? For example, sometimes in between, in the middle of the project, some regulatory aspects changed. Because of that, I need to terminate the project. So those information I need to forecast now. I need to document here.
Okay.
What is positive aspect actually? We delivered all the deliverables, so we can terminate the project. The project is no longer needed.
Correct. Okay. That is happy scenario.
Yeah. So that exit criteria also, like for example, you are developing a product, you are keep on improving the product. At one stage, you are thinking that, okay, improvement will not help you now. Okay, let us exit. Let us close the projects.
Okay. So if we have if it is a software project, understood, sir. But if it is a hardware project wherein we have planned for some deliverables, then the amount that has been invested in that, how we will recoup if it is going to be an exit criteria?
No. Exit criteria, that's what I'm telling you. Like a hardware means which one you are talking about it.
Now, for example, installation of some solar panels. In this, what exit criteria we will keep?
Okay. See, exit criteria solar panels, like for example, you want to make almost like 1,000 homes, like you want to install the solar panels. Okay. So now this already, it is like, for example, first 100 you done it, 200 you done it, 300. Now, for example, 1,000 homes only in the particular village, you done everything. Correct. After that, there is no need of continuing this project. So let us exit.
So exit criteria is almost equivalent to project accomplishment.
That both are same actually, exit and as well as accomplishment.
Okay.
So in between, like for example, exit criteria, you are installing the solar panels at homes actually, but through that, because of that, people are getting some kind of diseases. So the root cause analysis go to the solar panels. Maybe some issues actually, health issues. So let us terminate the project. That's also exit criteria.
In project charter, we don't map the stakeholders, sir.
We will document only the key stakeholders. I forgot. Okay. We document only the key stakeholders. Key stakeholder as well as key deliverables. See, here we just studied, right, that this one, understanding your organizations, like for example, proof of concept, all those things. This information will be documented in project charter. This result of this one, we will document in project charter. So key stakeholder, key deliverables, all those information will be there.
Okay, sir.
Clear now? Okay. So next one is like now project charter is ready. Project manager comes in. Now, what is the next step? Already project manager understood the organization, understood the key deliverables, right? We understood the organization, understood the project, understood the key deliverables, understood the key stakeholders. Then after that, he will develop a assumption and a constraint log. Right. So this is called the project charter information. We will. The next project overview statement may be used to communicate enterprise-wide the intent and vision of the project. That's called project overview statement. We'll prepare it. The statement may serve as a draft for the project charter or as a summary of the charter to distribute. So brevity and clarity are key. The statement should be less than a page, typically capturing the project objectives, problem or opportunity and criteria, kind of a snapshot of the project charter. We'll give it with authorization via project charter or approved project overview statement. The assigned project manager can begin the activities of project planning. And the activities are detailed project plan will be broken out into work breakdown structure. The date assigned in advance to a simple prioritized backlog items. Now, in Agile project, we will prepare a Agile project charter. Similarly, it is same actually. So what is called exit criteria, also known as accomplishment criteria, describe the conditions to be met in order to close or cancel the project or phase. Documented in the project charter, example, key project stakeholders will be aware of the resource unavailability as one of the conditions to terminate the project. Next one is we will prepare a project manager will prepare assumption log, assumption and a constraint log. Which is a project document. We call them as it is a live document. What is the meaning? Project charter, it is not a live document. Once it is approved, after that, no changes are expected. But assumption log throughout the project, we will update it. Also called as a assumption and constraint log. So project management team used to capture, document and track assumption throughout the project lifecycle. So what assumptions are an important part of any project because assumptions are the key input for the risk management activity. Because if your assumption is wrong, there will be a risk in the project. What is assumption? Assumption is something belief, but not validated. So it is assumptions are developed based on our past experiences, past knowledge, available information. Assumption, we assume something is going to be true, but not necessary to be true, or something is wrong, not necessary to be wrong. Anticipated events or circumstance, that is called assumption. Supposed to be true, but not necessarily to be true. Assumption add risk to the project. So assumptions are identified in initiation, analyzed in project planning, and validated in project execution. Right? And managed throughout the project. That's why we will keep on update the assumption log about the new assumptions will come in. Our old assumption may be invalidated or closed, or new assumption still valid. So we will document all those information. So what are the types of assumption? We have two types of assumption. One is a business and strategic level assumption. Another one is going to be task level assumptions. So each assumption, there will be a owner or team member responsible for following up or validating the assumption. There will be assumption ID or reference number, a name and description of each assumption, a responsible person, due date, status, closure date, and what are the actions we took it. Okay. Assumption, we will record and update all assumption and constraint throughout the project lifecycle. When a new assumptions are identified, change in existing assumption and constraint, and closing of the existing assumption and constraint. So that's why I told you that assumption log is a live document. Next one is project constraint. Project constraints are limiting factor. Limiting factor. So we have two types of constraint, technical constraint and business constraints. According to Pmp2 guide, a limiting factor which is going to affect the execution of project, program, and portfolio or process. A constraint is a known factor. Types of constraint, business constraint as well as technical constraints. Constraints are not under the control of PM, but imposed by client or organization or government. Either it is going to be internal constraint or external constraint. Affects the performance of the project or a process. Constraints are built into project management plan because constraints are going to be scope, schedule, cost, resources, quality, and risk. Based on that, only project management plan or performance measurement baseline will be developed. So assumption and constraints are important in planning. So we need to identify everything in initiation. Assumption and constraints are updated as a result of process interaction. Assumption and constraints should be considered when identifying and analyzing the risk. Assumption and constraint analysis, one of the important technique will be used in risk identification and risk assessment. Risk assumption and constraints helps to propose a implementation strategy. So what is called assumption? Something that cannot be proved or known to be true or false, and that is considered to be true for planning purposes. What is constraint? An applicable restriction or limitation, either internal or external to your project, which will affect the performance of the project or a process. So what is the risk? It is an uncertain event or unplanned event or condition. It may occur. It may occur. Right? So how do we know this actually? So it is like, for example, risk assumption is based on my personal experiences. Based on my personal experience, based on my knowledge. But what about the risk based on the historical information? Historical information, people opinion. So what is the issue? The issue already occurred. So issue and risk. Risk is uncertain, but the issue is certain. Today, whatever we consider as the issue, it may be a risk tomorrow. So, right. So how do we do this? How do we develop this project charter and assumption? We use the data gathering technique like interview, questionnaire and survey, right? Brainstorming. So all those methods we will use it. And as a project manager, you need to have a conflict management skill as well as facilitation skills. Conflict management and facilitation skills, you need to have it. So we have project charter and an assumption.
Project constraint and assumption to ensure identification and mitigation of any significant project.
They're asking you least. Please remember the word called least.
Least.
Out of 4, which is least? Maybe it is useful, but it is least useful. It is not at all useful. No, it is least.
Historical information. Option B.
Option B. That is a least actually.
The sponsor.
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 Historical information.
Historical information.
Information.
D.
Functional works
Portfolio
and
managers.
projects. Option D. Functional work and projects.
That is portfolio manager. Functional work. Functional work is the responsibility of functional manager, right? Or operation managers. Portfolio manager. Who's portfolio manager? The C, project, program, and operation, right? Portfolio management means centralized management of program, project, and operation. Portfolio manager, program manager, and project manager. Okay. Second. So now the project is initiated. So now let us go to the next one. We need to form the team, identify stakeholder. One second. I will show the slide. 1 minute. See, for example, brainstorming in general, we call them as an idea generation tool, but in brainstorming, we have so many methods like a brainstorming, like idea napkin. So like that, so many tools are available. Used to identify the list of ideas in a short period of time. It is idea generation tool conducted in a group environment and led by a facilitator. The technique comprises two parts. One is idea generation, another one is analysis. Idea analysis can be used to gather data and solution or ideas from stakeholders, subject matter experts, as well as team members. So what are the brainstorming techniques? Brain netting, brain writing, idea napkin, individual brainstorming, free writing, word association, and spider webs. So these are all techniques are available in brainstorm. So first, brain netting or virtual brainstorming. Brain netting and virtual brainstorming. So you will use the digital collaboration tool, document stored on a cloud or server or other online tools in order to generate and prioritize idea, discussing the advantages as well as disadvantages of a specific topics. So discussing like a brainstorming through online, this is called brain netting as well as visual brainstorming. It is anonymous idea sharing can be included as well. So mean without disclosing your identity, we can discuss. Like for example, so many forums we used to discuss hiding our name and everything. No, that's called brain netting or visual brainstorming. Brain writing. What is brain writing? So the facilitator will ask you to write all those like all your ideas in a paper, and they later, without disclosing your name and everything, they will discuss in a group meeting. Encourages everyone in the brainstorming session to participate and write their ideas down before sharing them with other team members. That's called brain writing. So later the facilitator collects the idea and shares them or asks the others to share and discuss them with the group. Idea napkin involves documenting ideas in 5 steps on a napkin. The 5 steps include such as like a topics as people, offering, customer value proposition, and core competency. Based on that, you will write the ideas. And the individual brainstorming, we will participate in the like a face-to-face brainstorming sessions. Free writing, a time-based writing session when people generate idea and write until a alarm sounds, ignoring grammar and spelling. So word association, creating a list of words and relating them to a topic, which simulates the development of numerous creative and unconventional ideas. Spider webs, visual note taking that diagrams the process of a thought where one idea can stimulate other related ideas. So these are all like kind of the spider webs like a idea and mind mapping. So each idea will simulate other ideas. So we will keep on documenting this information. So in the interview, we know that face-to-face interview, focus group also, like for example, the elicitation technique, meeting management. So meeting management, we will discuss in communication in detail, focus groups, conflict management also will study in detail in resource management. When we manage the resources, we will study. So conflict is inevitable in a project environment because when we develop a project charter, like there will be like a lot of conflict will arise because there will be like people has to agree on items which is going to be documented in project charter. So for that the project manager or facilitator must have a conflict management skills. We need to have it. Common sources of conflict, scarce resources, scheduling priority, personal working style, differences in opinion and approaches, way to reduce the conflict. Establish team ground rules. Team ground rules we will document in team charter. The team charter, it is a rules book for the team to behave, how they will conduct a meeting, how they will participate in the meeting, all those rules and regulation. So this is conflict management technique also will follow ground rules. Develop group norms, apply effective project management practices such as communication planning, clear role definition, responsibility, clarifications. So these are all benefits of conflict management. So project team members should first attempt to resolve conflict themselves. If there is a conflict between two team members and the team members themselves, they have to resolve it. If not, then they will approach the project manager. Project manager will intervene. If a project manager also cannot solve the conflict, then he can refer this conflict to the functional manager. If a functional manager also cannot solve this conflict, then we need to take for example, the procedures, we need to follow it. If a conflict escalates, the project manager facilitate resolution. Conflicts should be addressed early, handled privately when possible. That is always very important. Whenever there is a conflict between team members, it should be addressed early and it should be in private. Manage using direct as well as collaborative approach. Escalated or disruptive conflict. If a conflict continue or becomes disruptive, so formal procedure may be applied, disciplinary actions may be required. Role of the project manager. Project manager's success often depends on their conflict resolution skills, communication abilities, leadership and facilitation capability. So these are all conflict management techniques. What are the factors which may influence the conflict methods may include importance and intensity of the conflict. So now importance and intensity of the conflict is what? Like for example, the subject, like for example, the conflict subject is not important to me, or I don't have much information, or I don't have a time. In this case, what I will do, I will withdraw from the conflict. Time pressure for resolving the conflict. We need to take a quick decisions. So in this case, we may go for smooth or accommodating. Relative power of the people involved in conflict, maybe like power position, we play with the power position. So maybe like, for example, forcing, importance of maintaining good relationship, smoothing, and the motivation to resolve conflict on a long-term or short-term solution, which is going to provide, like it is, like a collaborative approach, problem-solving approach, we have it. So conflict management technique, there is 5 techniques. First one is going to be avoid. What is called avoid? The conflict is not important to me. I don't have much information, or my side is weak, or time factor is a problem. So in this case, we will avoid the conflict. Any one of the team member will avoid, or both will avoid the conflict. So here cooperativeness and assertiveness both are low. Next one, accommodating. It is called smooth or accommodating. Smooth or accommodating. When I will use it, I need to maintain the relationship. I need to maintain the relationship. I don't want to fight right now because maybe the project is in the end stage. If I can't, if I fight with the team member may quit. It may impact the project. In this case, let me give up. So this is called the cooperativeness is very important. So cooperativeness is high and assertiveness is low. So I'm going to giving up. I will give up my position. I will agree. I will find out the areas of agreement. So those areas of agreement we will work. So in this case, what will happen? The first person who gives up the position, he will lose. The second person may win. So it is called lose win things. Next one is competing, forcing. Competing, forcing is what? Assertiveness is more. Customer assertiveness is more. Customer cooperativeness is less. So power position of the people will make the assertiveness is high. In this case, they will force the people, competing the people, right? So here what will happen? The first person may may win. The second person may lose. Next one, compromising. Both will not find any solutions because timing will let us conflict and let us compromise. That's it. It is like, for example, both parties will lose. And finally, collaborating, problem solving, one of the best recommended method. It may take time. So here assertiveness also high. I will not give my positions. At the same time, I will cooperate with others to find out the long-term solution, which is not going to impact anything. So that's called problem solving or collaborative method. So both parties are going to win-win. Both parties are going to win-win. So please remember all those method. This chart is more than enough for you to understand the question. So next one is we will conduct the meetings. In communication, we will study what are the meetings we will conduct and how do we conduct. Next one is project canvas. So project canvas is a tool where we will document project objectives, key deliverables, key stakeholder, like a similar to project chart or project objective statement, which is a visual tool used to capture, organize, communicate important project information and key elements clearly and concisely. Right? It is kind of as we have discussed, project objective statement. We discussed what is that? Snapshot. Yes, like for example, one-page document about the project charter, maybe a business case. Similarly, project canvas also. Provide an easy to understand overview of the project, which shows how project components are interconnected, useful for managing complex project, consolidate all critical project information in one place, helps to identify gaps, dependency and issues early, creates a shared platform for a discussion and alignment, enhances communication among team members and stakeholders, promotes shared understanding of goals, scope, deliverables, priorities, and supports faster and more informed decisions. So what is project canvas? This is a template of project canvas. So we can document project objectives, stakeholders, deliverables, resources, risk information. The summary of your project important information, summary of your project important critical information, key information. So those things going to be documented in project canvas. So what is called responsible assessment matrix? Again, we will study in detail in resource management. It is called for each activity, each work package, we will assign the people. So that's called RACI chart. We will use it. Who's responsible? Who should be accountable? Who should be consulted? Who should be monitored? Who should be informed? That's called RACI chart. We'll prepare it. So we have high level matrix as well as lower level matrix. In resource management, we'll study. This is responsibility assessment matrix. We have project charter as well as we have assumption log. Right? So now your first process is over. Develop project charter. That's called initiate a project or phase. That is over. So in the first process, right? Sorry. The first process, initiate a project or phase is over. Your project charter is ready. Your project charter is ready. Your assumption log is ready. Your project objective statement is ready. Project objective statement is ready. Your product vision statement is ready right now. Product roadmap is ready. Your release plan is ready. Even in Agile project, your product backlog is ready. Definition of done is ready. So these are all available now. What is our next step? Now Project manager responsibility is to identify the stakeholder and form the organization as well as form the organization, like a project organization. What is it called? Functional organization, projectized organization, matrix organization, right? Next, you will form the identify stakeholders. We will identify the people who's going to work in the project as well as who's going to impact the results. So we take a break. After the break, we will continue. Yeah, we'll start now. What is the answer? What is the answer, please?
A, updated the enterprise environmental factors.
I feel like update company knowledge base.
Now, what is happening in the question? You are training some people. Okay, training the people. Normally, like what is the activity?
Is it option D, update lessons learned register?
You train your employees, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what is the action behind this? What is the reason behind this? Are you
To
going to
enhance
update
the
this?
knowledge.
You are going to enhance the knowledge. Is it updating the lessons learned register? Huh?
No, it's a
Training
skill
the
gap of
people. Huh?
skill gap of the employee.
No, I'm asking training the people, enhancing the knowledge of the people. Is it called lessons learned register? Updating the lessons learned register?
No,
That-
see, the question here is two people, they are not having good knowledge in Java. Then you are going ahead and training them. So
So what
tomorrow,
did you do? Question is, what did you do? Have you updated the lessons learned register by sending them for training? You updated the historical information by sending them the training. You updated the company knowledge base by sending them the training. You updated the enterprise environmental factor by sending them the training. So which is the right here?
company knowledge base.
But company knowledge base is nothing but a historical information, records, data, information. It is not company knowledge base, right? Company knowledge
Enterprise
base is
environment.
company experience. Company experience is company knowledge base.
Option A, update the enterprise environmental factor.
Why? Update the enterprise environmental factor. We have two, internal as well as external. Which one? Your answer is right, A. But which one?
internal.
In internal, we have so many things actually. Which one? Huh?
I said A because other three are not applicable.
Not available. That is you are right actually. Answer is right. But we should know why. Internal as well as external. Right? So what are all internal? These are all internal. Anything related to this? Anything related to this? Anything related to this?
Employee capability.
Employee
Skills.
capacity. You are increasing the skills. So that's why it's called enterprise environmental factor, internal employee capability.
C, obtain acceptance of deliverables from testing phase.
Acceptance of the deliverable from the testing phase. Yes. That's what first we will do it. After that only rest of the activity we will do it. Okay. Now we are going to identify a stakeholder. So who are all your stakeholders? Whoever is going to impact your project or impacted by your project or maybe perceived as impact or impacted by a project. The impact may be positive impact or negative impact. The stakeholder may come from your project, stakeholder may come from your organization, or stakeholder may come from outside organization also. The stakeholder may be stakeholder may be like a formal stakeholder or maybe informal stakeholder. Stakeholder may be an individual or maybe a company or maybe a group, right? Or maybe a NGO, non-governmental organization, or maybe like standard setting body, right? Anyone who's going to impact, which is an individual or group or organization who may impact or impacted by or perceive itself to be impacted by a decision, activity, or outcome of the project. So we have individuals or groups, as well as organization, informal, internal or external, formal, informal, impact or by impact, limited influence, significant influence. So these are all our stakeholders. So the project stakeholder members of the project team are also part of the stakeholder group. However, not all stakeholders are part of the project team. Generally, the project team is internal to the organization, actively participates in doing the project work. The stakeholder group is a larger group of people and organization that can influence or which is affected by the outcome of a project. So, for example, fans of the local sports team are stakeholder in the project to build a new sporting arena, but they are not part of the project team. So project stakeholder engagement process, it is an iterative process. Why iterative process? Throughout the project, we may identify a new stakeholder, analyze the stakeholder, document the stakeholder needs and expectation, engage the stakeholder. Again, we will modify the engagement strategies, modify the stakeholder need. So this will happen throughout the project. The activities of identification, prioritization, engagement should be reviewed as well as updated routinely. That's why it is called iterative process. So processes are performed whenever there is a changes to one phase to another phase, right? Project moves through different phases on its life cycle and current stakeholders are no longer involved in the work or maybe significant changes in the organization or in the project or maybe some external changes in the market or a country where you operate. So high degree of change require active engagement and participation with the project stakeholder. As we know that in plan-driven project, the stakeholder engagement will be at the beginning, it is high, and the end of the throughout the project, it is going to be low. So, but in agile project, due to high number of changes, the stakeholder involvement must be always high. Productive discussion, decision-making, adaptive team engagement with the stakeholders directly. Client, user, and developer exchange information in a dynamic, co-creative process. What is the meaning? When we say team, in plan-driven project, when we say team, the customer will not come inside the team. But when in agile project, when we say team, the customer or customer representative called the product owner will be part of the team. So regular interaction throughout the project mitigate risk, build trust and support adjustment earlier in the project and reducing the cost and increasing the success. So agile method always promote aggressive transparency to accelerate information sharing. So in agile project, we don't, like for example, we don't provide the information only to the particular stakeholders. We will provide information to everyone, but we will not send any email or reports. We always post our project artifact in a transparent manner, like in an open space where we will keep a display information radiator where everyone can understand the status of the project. Misalignment, dependency, and other issues mitigated by inviting any stakeholder to project meetings as well as reviews or posting project artifact in a public spaces. So we have 4 processes: identify stakeholder, plan stakeholder engagement, manage stakeholder engagement, and monitor stakeholder engagement. But in 8th edition, we need to combine both communication management also, right? So when we say communication management, so 7 process it will come. In 7th edition, communication management is different, stakeholder engagement is separate. Communication management 3 processes, stakeholder engagement 4 processes. Now we are combining together as a stakeholder engagement. So as a 7 process, we are going to combine. No changes actually. Means only they combined it together. Nothing is removed. Nothing is removed. So hope you are understanding and following. If you have any question, please ask me, because understanding the process is very important.
Option A is okay.
Option A.
Option B, identify and analyze risk events using quality and quantitative techniques.
It's a project manager in a software project which is currently initiated. You want to assess high level risk. Currently initiated. You want to assess high level risk. What I told you that when you see high level word, which answer you need to find out?
Project charter.
Project charter. This is standard answers. Right? So develop the project charter and risk management plan to start identifying risk based on those and other documents. So answer is A.
But I have one question. In project charter, you cannot project manager cannot able to change anything, right? Only sponsor has to change the modification. In that,
correct.
In that, project manager cannot do anything, sir.
Yeah, but he's not doing anything. He want to assess the high level risk only. Na? Assessment means you want to analyze. And the risk is documented in project charter. You want to take the risk information, you will assess it. You will analyze it. But you are not going to update the assessment information in the project charter.
Understood.
This is what your doubt, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So he did not do any modification.
No.
He's only analyzer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now identify stakeholder. Identify stakeholder. So who's responsible to identify? Everyone is responsible. Please remember, not only project manager. Project manager always will be having overall responsibility. And who's responsible? Like the like everyone is responsible. When we will identify the stakeholder throughout the project, it is not one-time activity, it is a repeated activity. When we have studied assumption, like I said, it is a live document. What is a living document? Product backlog is a living artifact. They will say, what is the meaning? As long as product is existing, product backlog also will exist. So similarly, assumption log also, as long as project is going on, assumption log also will be updated, modified, reviewed, everything we will do it. So similarly, stakeholder register also living document. Identifying stakeholder continuously, identifying and documenting their characteristics, enable the project team to identify the appropriate focus for engagement of each stakeholder, performed periodically throughout the project. Stakeholder register is an output. So high-level stakeholder, key stakeholder, maybe project sponsor or customer. For current, you are identify business need or problem. Those people are affected by project and benefit from project. They are involved in developing business document and project charter. So those people, we call them as a key stakeholders. So identifying all stakeholders, not just a limited set. Why? Because stakeholders are the people going to give you the requirements. Requirements are going to be a foundation for the project to build. If you miss the requirement, you will miss the deliverable. You may end up in a lot of changes, correct? So stakeholder are the first primary input we require to identify all those, to collect all those requirements. Ensuring that all team members are involved in stakeholder engagement activity. Project management plan components, project documents, OPA will be referred to identify the stakeholders. Process of stakeholder identification and engagement should commence as soon as possible. The project charter has been approved, project manager has been assigned, and a team brings to form. This process will be repeated throughout the project. Any missing stakeholder found later may cause a project delay. Right? So now we are going to identify a stakeholder. Identify stakeholders. So next one, analyze or assess stakeholder. Analyze or assess stakeholder. Prioritize or classify stakeholders. Prioritize or classify stakeholders. Then document stakeholder register. So now, how do we identify stakeholder? I will ask this expert. So expert judgment. I may read the document analysis. I may read the document, right? So project management plan components, project documents, OPA to be referred to identify the stakeholder. Then I will use the data gathering. So data gathering, what I will use? I will use interview.
Sir, who is referred as experts
Experts,
while identifying the stakeholders?
Anyone you feel that they have experience in the similar project. Maybe your friend, your colleague, maybe someone you consider as an stakeholder, expert.
Okay.
So data gathering, you may use interviews, then question and survey, or you will use brainstorming, or all those brainstorming technique, whatever we discussed, brain writing. So these are all techniques we will use it. So we have collected all those stakeholders, we collected the information. What is our next step? We need to assess. So let us perform a stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder analysis, we will do it. Now, once that is done, we will prioritize and classify. What we do, stakeholder mapping. Then we need to present the information, data representation technique. Right? So finally, we will, stakeholder register will be having identification information, assessment information, and a classification information. Clear now? So this is what, this is the steps exactly you need to remember, right? Then only you can be able to understand. Like, for example, if you read the book, if you read the at least slides, okay, 90% it is well organized. But if you read the book, you cannot go, like, for example, as a sequence. This is a sequence. If you have any doubt, please tell me. So that's what the summarization, identify stakeholder, assess the stakeholder, as well as prioritize the stakeholder and document, grouping the stakeholder. So now we'll go to the tools and techniques. First one is expert judgment. Then data gathering, brainstorming, brain writing, questionnaire and survey interview. Brain writing, it is an individual activity. We will ask the people to write their opinion in a like paper. Then we will go to the group activity. The group activity is going to be a brainstorming session. So we'll see, please remember, interview we will use it for to collect the confidential information. Brainstorming we will use it for like your idea generation, and question and survey we will use it for mass information collection. Now next one is analysis. We will do the analysis, stakeholder analysis, document analysis also one of the method to collect the stakeholder information. Next we are going for stakeholder analysis. The process of identifying roles and responsibility on the project. Process of identifying roles and responsibility. Level of authority and influence within the organization. Needs, expectation, and requirements. Needs, expectation, and requirement and attitude. And what is their interest in the project? Understanding the attributes, interrelationship, and interface between the stakeholder. So this is called stakeholder analysis. So what is the summary? Roles and responsibility in the organization, roles in the project, stakes, right? As well as attitude and interest. So what is called stakes? A person, a stakeholder may have an interest, maybe a general interest about everything in the project. So if someone have a legal rights, especially authorities will be having a legal rights, moral rights, like NGOs, non-governmental organizations, they will be having a moral rights, ownership. Someone is providing the equipments, ownership, and as well as knowledge, someone providing you the knowledge, as well as contributions, financial contributions, provision of funds and other resources, providing support for the project, promoting the objectives of the project, right? And liaison between the project as well as power structures of the organization. This is called stakes. Right? Next. So next one is stakeholder mapping. You understood the stakeholder, like you understood completely about the stakeholder. Now we need to map it. Map means like, what is the purpose of mapping? Like we need to prioritize for all high level stakeholder, key stakeholder, like how do we map it based on the power position, roles and responsibilities, expectations, needs, interest, stakes. Based on those factors only, we will map it. So data representation technique used to group the stakeholder into categories. Classification and category of stakeholder helps to prioritize the engagement of stakeholder. So categorizing assists the team in building relationship with the identified stakeholder. So we have so many methods. First one is going to be grid model. Next one is stakeholder cube, salience model, direction of influence, prioritization. So first one is grid. It is used for grouping up stakeholder, useful for small project or simple relationship between stakeholder as well as project within the stakeholder community. In a grid, what we will do, we will compare two attributes we will compare. One is power, another one is interest. If someone has a high power, what will happen? Someone has a high interest, what will happen? So in between, what will happen? So analyzing this two, it is called power interest grid. Okay. Now, someone has a high power in the project, low interest in the project. We need to keep them satisfied. Can you tell me who are all the people who will come under this category? Someone will be having high power, low interest, keep satisfied.
Authorities.
Authorities, right? Who has a high power, low interest. Okay, next one. Collaborate, engage, consult. High power, high interest. Who are all the people? High interest, high power.
Management or stakeholders.
Who's
Management.
That? Stakeholder is now we are studying stakeholder. Who's that stakeholder? Huh? Management
The
means
project
which,
to whom it is delivered.
tell me the name now, like what we have studied so many things.
The project sponsor.
Project sponsor, yes. Project sponsor, customer, client, product owner, those people will come under engage and consult, correct? Next one. Someone has a high interest but low power. Keep informing them. Who's that? Hmm? Someone has a high interest but low power.
PMO.
High interest and low power. PMO, sometimes they have a high power also. Who's that? Team members. Team members will be having high interest but low power in the project. They want to know the status of the project. Keep informing them. Correct? Okay. Someone has a low power, low interest. We need to monitor them. Who's that? I'm asking from your experience only because you are confusing with your confusing with the PMP and your experience. So let us go with your experience. We will study PMP.
Workers.
Workers we can monitor, competitors we can monitor. Huh? So those people monitor actually. So please remember that they will give you the scenario. They will ask you what we are going to do, what action we are going to do. Are we going to keep satisfied, engage and consult, monitor, keep informed? So this question, this particular grid, definitely you will get one or two questions, you will get it. So please understand the concept first. Next one is we are going for cube, stakeholder cube. So what is a stakeholder cube? Stakeholder cube, like we will analyze in grid model, we analyze two variables, two attributes. In cube, we are going to analyze three variables. Refinement of the grid model, three-dimensional model, treating the stakeholder community as a multi-dimensional entity. See, for example, you are not having only power and interest, right? But you also have something else also. So three variables, three attributes, we will analyze it. The power also not always positive power. You will be having a negative power also, you will be having it. That's called either you are going to be influential person or maybe insignificant person. Or you may be active person, or you may be a passive person, or you may be attitude like a backer or blocker. Based on the combination, see in the previous method, how many stakeholders we can identify? 4 type of stakeholder. But here we can identify 8 type of stakeholder we can identify. This is called stakeholder cube. So little improved or better than grid model. Grid model, which is going to analyze only 2, right? For a simple relationship, we can use it. For a small number of stakeholder, we can use it. But if you want to analyze a complex relationship, right? So then you can go for cube model, we can go for it. So next one is salience model. So again, it is a refinement of the cube model, still further, like a more informative model, right? So classification of stakeholder assigning 3 attributes. For example, power, legitimate, and urgency. And useful for large and complex stakeholder community, complex of network of relationship within the community, determine the importance of the identified stakeholder. Now, in a grid model, you can classify a person based on 2 attributes. But in a cube, you can classify a person based on 3 attributes. So what about if a person has only 1 attribute? So, for example, if you have only power, what type of character you will exhibit? If you have only urgency, what type of character you will exhibit? What type of, if you have only legitimacy, what type of character? Next, if you have power and urgency, who are you? If you have power and legitimacy, who are you? Legitimate and urgency, who are you? So now 3 plus 3, 6. Another one, if you have all 3, 7th. So we can be able to identify 7th type of stakeholder we can be able to identify. In a grid model, 2 stakeholder, only 4 stakeholder, 4 type of stakeholder. In a cube model, 8 type of stakeholder. Here we can identify 7 stakeholder, but 3 category. If you have single attribute, double attribute, triple attribute. So we will use the Venn diagram consisting of 3 circles. Each attribute is represented by a circle. The intersection of those circles shows multiple attributes, 7 different sections represented by 7 type of stakeholder. We have 3 category: latent stakeholder if you have single attribute, expectant stakeholder if you have 2 attribute, and the definitive stakeholder if you have 3 attributes. So now you have only power. You are a dormant stakeholder. Legitimacy, discretionary stakeholder. Urgency, demanding stakeholder. If you have power and legitimacy, you are a dominant stakeholder. Legitimacy and urgency, you are a dependent stakeholder. And power and urgency, you are a dangerous stakeholder. If you have all 3, you have core stakeholder. So next one is the direction of influence. Upward direction stakeholder, who's going to impact you. Like for example, who is going to show the power from the top? Who's going to influence you from down? Who's going to influence you from side as well as outside? So there is a upward direction, downward direction, outward direction, sideward direction. So that is called prioritization of stakeholder is necessary when large number of project stakeholders, stakeholder community changing frequently, complex relationship between stakeholder as well as project team. So now we have stakeholder register is ready, identification information, assessment information, as well as stakeholder classification information.
At the end of a phase, each phase.
Is it? Lessons learned is end of the each phase.
End of the project.
End of the project, if you do that during the project, if you have some mistakes, how do you improve it?
Okay.
Conducting a project is one of the continuous improvement activity. Please don't forget. Conducting a project. Can you please mute in case someone is not speaking? See, conducting a project is a act of continuous improvement. When I start a project, my knowledge is different. When I finish my project, my knowledge is different because continuously I improved my knowledge through failures and successes. That's called kind of lessons learned, right? So answer C, throughout the project in both predictive, iterative, agile life cycles. Please remember, stakeholder, lessons learned, risk, these are all continuous activity, including activity defining activity. These are all continuous activity throughout the project. Understand the concept, that's very important.
A and D.
A and D, yes. Because you need to have a face-to-face interaction, video conferencing and brief summarization meeting will help you and support you. Okay. So now identify stakeholder is over. What is next? Now for each stakeholder, we know very well. What is their character? What is their attributes? What is their interest? What is their power? What is their roles and responsibility? Everything we know about the stakeholder. Now we need to develop a engagement strategy. And each stakeholder have a needs, expectation and requirements. So based on that, we need to develop a engagement strategy. So as well as we need to document them the engagement level. Some stakeholder we may require in a leading position. Some stakeholder we may require in a supportive position. Developing approaches and strategies. The approaches are based on stakeholder needs, expectation, interest, and potential impact on the project. Provide a plan to interact effectively with the stakeholder. Performed periodically, stakeholder engagement plan. Developing stakeholder engagement strategies. Stakeholder analysis results are the basis for the process. Develop a strategy to involve each project stakeholder based on the needs, expectation, interest, and potential impact on the project. It is an iterative process. Continuously, we will improve the stakeholder engagement. That's called iterative process. So what we do? Expert judgment, data gathering like a benchmarking. Benchmarking means we compare our stakeholder engagement practices with the similar in the industry or within the company. We will do internal benchmarking or external benchmarking. Right. So next one is already we have documented in stakeholder register. We have an assumption about each stakeholder based on our analysis assessment. We have an assumption about a stakeholder. So we do the assumption and constraint analysis. We will do it to tailor the appropriate engagement strategies. Now, next one, during execution, because identification of stakeholder, assessment of stakeholder these are all continuous process. During execution, some stakeholders were not engaged as planned. So it was an issue. Then we have, like what we need to do, we need to perform a root cause analysis. From the root cause analysis, we may modify the strategy, modify the approaches. Again, we will document the stakeholder engagement plan. We will engage them. So please, Robert, assumption and constraint analysis. We may have an assumption about each stakeholder. Based on the assumptions, we will analyze and we will develop an engagement strategy. Or during execution, some stakeholders may not engage as planned, as expected. So then there is a problem. So we need to perform a root cause analysis. Result of root cause analysis, we may modify the engagement strategy. So that's why we are using two techniques. Right. So next one is based on the analysis. Then we need to prioritize and rank the stakeholders. Apart from that, we are going to present the information by using idea and mind mapping. It is a data representation. Next one is we need to document the stakeholder engagement level. We need to document. So in the stakeholder engagement level, so maybe like, for example, like supportive, leading, resistance, neutral, and unaware. So during planning, we may document the desired level of engagement. During execution, we document the current level of engagement. Then we will analyze both, right? What is the desired, what is current? If there is any gap, there is an issue. That's what root cause analysis you had studied, right? Which can be used to classify the project stakeholder into smaller groups that are rated based on the classification level. Stakeholder engagement and involvement will vary with every project. So the stakeholder engagement may be unaware. What is unaware? I know the change. I don't know the change. I don't know the impact. I'm not aware of anything. What is resistant? I know the change. I know the impact. I will oppose it. Neutral. I know the change. I know the impact, but I neither oppose nor lead. What is supportive? I know the change. I know the impact. I will support you. What is lead? I know the change. I know the impact. I will lead. So this is what 4 or 5 engagement level. We will prepare a stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. We will prepare. During planning, we will document the D, desired. During execution, we will document the current. Then during monitor and control process, we will compare both the desired and current, and we will find out the root cause of the problem. So stakeholder engagement plan, we will document the engagement strategies, engagement levels, then scope and impact of change to stakeholder, interrelationship and potential overlap between stakeholder, communication requirement, information to be distributed, what are the reasons to distribute this information, time frame, frequency, method for updating and refining the stakeholder engagement plan.
Supportive.
Is in supportive. Read.
No, actually, they don't have strong feelings either. So maybe it's neutral.
There's level of involvement in this project.
Resistant or unaware.
Is that? Still, you are not reading the question. You people are not reading the question. Read actually.
Supportive, sir.
He's not supportive. Dave is a supportive.
Sir, he is
No,
Yeah,
Dave
resisting.
is
Dave is
Dave
convinced.
is
supportive
resisting.
to. No, actually, Seth is having the strong feeling, right, to
Start.
convert this into.
Hmm. So, is a neutral or the accountants that work for Dave don't have strong feelings either way, but will most likely follow Dave's. They are neutral. Dave liked the
Neutral.
older
Okay.
system. Dave liked the older system. He has been using for more than 10 years and is questioning, right? Is questioning, is questioning whether the new system will produce the same result as the old one. Then he is resisting, right?
Yes.
It is a resistance.
It can be unaware also, right, sir?
No. Dave, unaware, no. Dave likes the old system. He has been using for more than 10 years and questioning whether the new system will produce the same results of the old one. It is not about unaware of the system. Unaware means unaware about the changes. But he is aware of the change. The company is trying to bring a new software. I am aware of it. But I stand with the old system.
To say the resistant, he didn't deny it also, right, Dave? So that's
He is resisting the new system, whether the new system will produce the same result as the old one. He has a question.
okay.
Hmm.
B, because it is already a existing project. B.
So as a starting point for initial project planning, what is the first thing you should do?
Charter, project charter.
Charter.
B.
Yeah.
Project charter.
Throughout the planning, we will review the project charter as a first activity. Project charter will give you high level information. Project management plan will give you detailed information.
Sir, can I go back to the previous one?
Yeah.
Sorry, in that it is saying that you are managing a project in Alaska, which is to exist. It is kind of existing, right? To extend a
Extend
existing. Yeah.
on existing item.
Okay, it's a new one then. Okay. Sir, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
B.
What is the answer?
D, the last one, planning what will be accomplished during each iteration.
Now, there are in this adaptive environment, what should be the focus for the project manager? Planning what will be accomplished during each iteration. Who is responsible? Who is responsible? Fundamentally, there is a difference between plan driven and change driven. Even this also, like for example, in plan driven also, we will do the same thing. Who is responsible for planning?
Project manager.
Team.
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 It's a team's responsibility. Even in plan driven also, team's responsibility, right? Only project manager will give necessary support. In Agile also, it is a team's responsibility. Means like a scrum master, product owner, customer, as well as cross-functional team member, they will sit together, they will do the planning. Sprint planning will be done by all three people. So planning what will be accomplished during each iteration, removed. Any other answer? So from this question will teach you a lot of concept actually. It will clarify your knowledge.
Building a collaborative decision.
Building
making
a,
environment.
yeah. B was
Building a collaborative decision-making environment. That's called project manager responsibility. Okay. First one, performing a detailed product planning and delivery. Is it possible in Agile?
No, Agile phase wise only.
Iteration wise, every iteration, every release, we will elaborate, progressively elaborated. Rolling wave planning, those concepts will be applicable in Agile. So detailed product planning, it is not possible. Holding the project team accountable for deadlines, no. In Agile project, we cannot make someone as a deadline. Like for example, accountable and all, we cannot. It is a collaborative work, right? So answer is B, building a collaborative decision-making environment.
Check the enterprise environmental factors for information from past projects.
You want to know if there is any relevant information that can be gleaned from past project kickoff meetings, where it will be there. Is it in C, enterprise environmental factors will have the past project information?
Lessons learned together in that.
But where it lessons learned register means it is your current ongoing.
No, from the
Lessons
past
learned
projects.
in past project. See, I will tell you the difference. Lessons learned register means current ongoing. Lessons learned repository means past completed.
Repository and okay.
Past project information will be documented.
But when we meet the participants of the past kickoff meetings, will we be able to get all the details from them, sir?
We cannot get all the information. Even if they're giving you the information, which one is very good actually? People opinion is reliable or documented information is reliable. For example, you've done the similar project maybe 1 year before. Can you able to recall everything? Is possible? You may
No.
recall something, but not possible. Correct? So
Correct.
always we need to rely on documented information. So where this documented information will be available?
Research the organizational process assets.
Yes, OPA. OPA is a knowledge base, knowledge repository. This is a very small mistake actually. So still you are not understanding OPA, what is EEF? EEF will be having information about your internal factor of your company as well as external factor of your company. OPA will be having your past project information. Anything if I want to see, if I want to know about past project, I will go to OPA only. Right? So next one is going to be manage stakeholder engagement. So manage stakeholder engagement, then we will continue from next week. So please start studying. Okay, so we'll meet on Monday. Easy pass will meet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.